Rulers and buildings. Introduction. India's architectural history is enriched by various monuments built over centuries. These famous buildings and structures represent the culture and heritage of a place and time in history. Over the years, many rulers of India would build these grand structures as a sign of progress and wealth. Come, let us explore their unique architecture. Objectives. In this chapter, we shall learn about the following concepts. 1. Meaning of monuments. 2. Engineering skills and construction. 3. Building temples, mosques and tanks. 4. Reason for the destructions of the temples. 5. Gardens, tombs and forts. 6. Region and empire. Let us start our discussion with monuments. Various grand buildings and structures were built by the rulers. These came to be known as monuments. There were two types of structures that were built by rulers, and their craftsmanship earned the status of monuments. Residences of rulers like forts, palaces, gardens which were protected and secure. Public structures like temple, mosques, bazaar, wells, etc. Let us see the specialities of these structures in the next section. Engineering skills and construction. We get an insight into the technology used for construction by seeing the monuments. For example, a roof can be built by placing wooden beams or a slab of stone across 4 walls. But if we want to make a large room with an elaborate superstructure, it will be a difficult task warranting specialized skills. Between the 7th and 10th centuries, architects started adding more rooms, doors and windows to buildings. Roofs, doors and windows were still made by placing a horizontal beam across 2 vertical columns, a style of architecture called trabeate or corbelled. Between the 8th and 13th centuries, the trabeate style was used in the construction of temples, mosques, tombs and in buildings attached to large stepped wells or baulis. There were 2 technological and stylist developments noticeable from the 12th century, which were accurate form of architecture. In this form of architecture, the weight of the superstructure above the doors and windows was sometimes carried by the arches. In an arch, a keystone bears the weight of the superstructure and transfers the weight to the base of the arch. Increased use of limestone cement in construction. This was of high quality. It hardened into concrete when mixed with stone chips. It made the construction of large structures easier and faster. Let us now check our understanding. Question 1. Which style was used in the construction between the 8th and 13th centuries? Answer. Between the 8th and 13th centuries, the trabeate style was used in the construction of temples, mosques, tombs and in buildings attached to large stepped wells or baulis. Question 2. Why was limestone used in construction of large structures? Answer. Limestone was very high quality cement which, when mixed with stone chips, hardened into concrete. This made construction of large structures easier and faster. Now, let us learn how their temples, mosques and tanks were built. Constructing temples and mosques. In the medieval period, kings constructed places of worship for 2 reasons. Firstly, to showcase their wealth, power and devotion to God, and secondly, to earn the gratitude of their subjects by building for them areas of use comfort, and need. A temple complex represented the real-world order about how the ruler controlled the allies and the subordinates. Muslims didn't believe in idealization and strongly believed that God is the greatest architect. Mosques were symmetrical structures showcasing their ability to bring about order and symmetry from chaos. As each new ruler wished to prove his worth, he would build bigger and grander temples and mosques. As these structures were a symbol of a king's power and wealth, they were the first places to be attacked by an enemy. Some temples and mosques had tanks in their premises, such as the Golden Temple and the Jami Masjid. Kings attacking places of worship used to send a message to the subjects that if the old ruler could not protect his own god, he was fit to rule them no more. Let us now check our understanding. Question 1. Why temples and mosques were beautifully constructed? Answer. Temples and mosques were beautifully constructed because they were places of worship. Constructing places of worship provided rulers with the chance to proclaim their close relationship with God. Why were temples destroyed? As temples were a depiction of a ruler's power and wealth, so when other kingdoms used to attack another kingdom, they used to destroy the temple as they ultimately destroyed ruler's power. For example, Pandyan king Sri Mara Sri Vallabha invaded Sri Lanka and defeated the Jewel Palace. He then proceeded to destroy monasteries and seize all the golden images from the palace. Let us now check our understanding. Question 1. Why were temples destroyed by some rulers? Answer. Since temples were the indicators of the king's devotion to God and their power and wealth, it was obvious to target temples while attacking kingdoms.